What's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and welcome to another live edition of the State of the Saints podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, Who That Nation around the world, I am here tonight to talk about the Minnesota Vikings loss to the San Francisco 49ers by a score of 27-10. I hate to say that I told you so, but I told you so. This game right here was exactly what I thought it was going to be. This game right here is exactly how I pictured this game. I knew that Kirk Cousins was going to stink it up in Levi Stadium. I knew it. I knew he was going to stink it up, folks. It was no surprise whatsoever. I knew that he was going to stink it up. See, the thing about Kirk Cousins, what people need to understand, Kirk Cousins is a guy who plays when there are no expectations. Like when people bet against him, when nothing is on the line, when nobody expects him to do anything, that's when he goes out and perform. When I started to see people start to jump on the bandwagon of the Minnesota Vikings, when I seen people started to vote for the Minnesota Vikings to beat the San Francisco 49ers in the divisional, I knew that he was not going to be able to close the deal. Kirk Cousins is one of those guys that work at one of those big Fortune 500 companies, and he wants to make it to the top. He wants to be among the executives. He wants to sit up in there and be one of those guys that wears those tailor-made suits and sit at that round table. But when it's time for him to pitch in front of the big wigs, he can't close the deal. And that's exactly what he did. He did not close the deal, okay? Everybody was looking at Kirk Cousins. He basically completely erased the narrative that he could not win a big game by going into the Superdome in a wild card round and winning the game against the New Orleans Saints. And then he goes on the road and everybody expects him to win, and he loses. Because that's exactly what Kirk Cousins does. And that's exactly what Kirk Cousins is, a loser. But I'm going to be honest with you, Who That Nation. Although this is funny, although I'm getting a good laugh off this, I got to admit to you, this game right here really ticked me off. It really ticked me off because we all knew what the Minnesota Vikings was. We all knew what they were, and they got let off the hook by the New Orleans Saints. And you look at what the San Francisco 49ers did in this game. They ran the ball 45 times in this game. They ran the ball down the throats of the Minnesota Vikings defense. They imposed their will. They played physical football. They controlled the time of possession. They didn't worry about Jimmy Garoppolo throwing the ball all over the place. And you wonder to yourself, why does Sean Payton can't follow this blueprint? In 2009, the New Orleans Saints went to the Super Bowl. The Saints were ranked third in the NFL in rushing, running the football with Pierre Thomas, Reggie Bush, and Mike Bell. Why, oh, why can't Sean Payton see that you cannot throw the ball all over the place? Run the football. Did you not see Kyle Shanahan call his offense? He didn't care if his team got 2 yards. He didn't care if they got stopped. He ran the football. And Sean Payton, for some reason beyond me, I just don't get it. I don't know if he's trying to live vicariously through Drew Brees, because we all know that Sean Payton was a quarterback in the 80s playing for the Chicago Bears during the time when the strike was going on. He was one of those replacement players. And maybe because he wasn't a good quarterback, maybe he tries to live vicariously through Drew Brees because his success is entangled with the success of Drew Brees. Drew Brees coming from San Diego with the busted shoulder, and he resurrected a career and turned him into a Hall of Famer. So maybe that's the reason why he likes to throw the ball all over the place. But I got news for you, Who Dat Nation. The Saints are not going to make it to the Super Bowl. The Saints will not be able to get through the playoffs if they do not run the football. And you can love Drew Brees all you want to. I love Drew Brees myself. You can talk about the Saints passing the ball all over the place all you want to, but the only thing that's going to get us is dancing around our living rooms. But when the game is on the line and the chips are on the table in big boy football called the playoffs, you have to run the football. You have to impose your will, and you have to shove it down the throats of your opponent. And the New Orleans Saints, with that finesse, air raid type offense they be trying to run, throwing the ball 34, 45 times a game, is not going to get you where you need to be. And you know the frustrating about this, the most frustrating about this, Who Dat Nation, is that he has it in him to do it. He has it in him to do it. Sean Payton has the ability to call more run plays. And don't even take it from me. This ain't just me talking. I was listening to WWL on Friday. Fans and the pros with Deuce McAllister and Zach Streif. You know, these two guys call the Saints games on the radio on Sundays. Even Zach Streif said that he used to go to Sean Payton and he used to politic about running the football more. This Zach Streif, who played over 10 years in the Saints offense, being the right tackle for the New Orleans Saints, said he went into the office of Sean Payton and he politicked and asked him point blank, why can't we add more running plays to the play sheet? All I got to say is this. You got to run the football. You got to. I'm sorry, folks. Like I said, I love Drew Brees, and I understand it, man. All these records, completion percentage, yards, touchdowns, I get it. Trust me, I do. But the frustrating thing about it is we have basically squandered 3 years of a really good Saints football team because of Sean Payton's lack of commitment to running the football. And anybody that feels like, oh, this is a new NFL, they throw the ball all over the place. Look at Patrick Mahomes. Look at Lamar Jackson. Like the Baltimore Ravens led the NFL in rushing this season. Okay? They led the NFL in rushing. Most of the teams that are successful on their way to the NFC Championship game, I'm just focusing on the 49ers as of right now because they're the only team. They are a run-based team. That's all there is to it. They got 3. Did y'all see this game? They had 3 running backs out there running the football. 3. They had 3 running backs running the football. They didn't care. They ran the ball 12 straight times. One drive was 8 plays. They ran the ball every single time. Every single time. I just don't get it, man. That is the most frustrating thing about this game. That was the most frustrating thing about this game because I knew for a fact that the Minnesota Vikings did not have what it takes to beat the 49ers. And here we are a couple weeks ago in week 8 in a dogfight. In a dogfight. Well, I don't know if it was week 8, but I don't know, week 10 or 11, whatever it was. We were in a dogfight with the same exact team and lost by 2 points. You know, I thought this game right here would make me feel better if the Minnesota Vikings lose. And in ways, it did, okay? It did. I'm happy. I know a lot of people in the Who Dat Nation are probably happy, but it still don't defeat the fact that the Saints robbed themselves out of a really good opportunity to make it to the Super Bowl. And it's all because of Sean Payton's play calling and his lack of commitment to the run game. That is why I am politicking. I don't know if any of you, how many of you actually heard my podcast about how I feel the Saints need to focus on the offseason, but I think that they need a new offensive coordinator. And I understand that Sean Payton calls the plays, but I feel like when you have two guys that have been together as long as Pete Carmichael and Sean Payton have, they basically finish each other's sentences. And I feel like when you talk to one guy, you're talking to another. They need a young, innovative guy inside of that room that can talk to Sean Payton, that can bounce ideas off him, and can possibly beat it into his mind that you have to run the football. Because I am tired of watching this year after year. And like I said, all this hope and all this belief, that's one thing. But when you know this team is capable of going to the Super Bowl, when you know that this team is capable of winning more than one championship, and you get frustrated at the fact, because I mean, I'm just being honest, folks. How many times can we completely just throw that one Super Bowl in the face of folks and just feel confident about doing that? Because I'm going to be honest with you, even though I do use that, it don't really have that much. I mean, it's not really that concrete to me anymore, man. When you know how good this team can be, when you know that this team can be really, really good, when you know that this team has really, honestly squandered their draft picks over these past 3 to 4 years, it frustrates you. And you can be the most loyal fan in the world. You can be the most dedicated fan in the world to the New Orleans Saints. And I like to consider myself as one of those fans. But what frustrates me the most is the fact that I am defending this team when I shouldn't even have to be defending them because they should be playing today or playing tomorrow. I mean, it is what it is, folks. It is what it is. These guys ran the ball 45 times. And the thing about it is, you know, Sean Payton, one of his biggest faults is the fact that he tried to out-scheme his opponent, but he ends up out-scheming himself. He ended up overthinking himself. Do you think Kyle Shanahan cared that Mike Zimmer and the Minnesota Vikings knew that he was going to run the ball? Do you think that he cared that he knew when you seen a running back in a game that he was going to hand the ball off to him? Do you think that he cared? Absolutely not. He did not care because he believed in his offensive line. I mean, it wasn't like these guys were getting 6-7 yards every time they ran it. Sometimes they'll get 1 yard, sometimes they'll get 2, but Kyle Shanahan committed himself to the running game. But does Sean Payton do that? No. They'll run the ball one time. Alvin Kamara get 1 yard. Run the ball again, 1 yard. Okay, man, we need to get away from that. And they just constantly throw the football over and over and over and over again. And for that, I don't know. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Maybe y'all got the answers, but TJ Jones don't. I do not have the answers as to why this guy does that. Deuce Wyndham said, "Fool, you ain't no competition to me. I'm the king of the Saints. Talk on YouTube. Who Deuce Nation?" Deuce said, "You ain't no competition to me." Is that Deuce Wyndham? Is that Deuce Wyndham? Oh man, hey man, I'm honored, man. I'm honored. First off, I never said that I was competition to you. And for you to actually be on this page, you must feel the competition. I don't feel like it's any competition, man. You're doing a really good job. I have nothing against you. I appreciate you being on a page, but I don't know what you're talking about. You say you're the king of Saints talk. I beg to differ. The king of Saints talk is actually Christian Garrett and Bobby Abel. I think we're all trying to get to their spot. So you may be the king of YouTube, and that's fine. But I'm good in my lane. And trust me, I'm coming, dude. I'm coming. Anyway, back to the Saints, man. I'm gonna answer y'all questions, man. I'm gonna answer y'all questions. That was weird right there. I'm not a competition. You come on my YouTube channel and say that I'm not competition to you. I'm not even trying to be competition to you. I'm not even trying to be competition with you. And if you're probably referring to that Instagram post that I put up, you know, that video, I actually thought that was I thought it was pretty flattering that y'all said, you know, the state of the Saints. That's how I took it. So maybe it wasn't that way. But I must really be doing something, man, because that was weird though. Shout out to Deuce though, man. Y'all check him out. Y'all check him out. That was funny. Next, let's go ahead and answer some of these questions. That man said he the king of the Saints podcast. The king. But he is good though. I would never take that away from him. But I'm good too, bro. Anyway, let's see. LOL, who that? Who that TJ? Feel like it's been forever. But after this, it makes me ticked that we couldn't commit to the run. Yeah, man. That's what get me. What up, TJ? What's going on, Daryl? Says who that? 49ers ran the ball 45 times. Yep. Shannon Rose said we like that. Well, we definitely did. 49ers defense only allowed 10 points. This ain't funny because it shows me how the Saints messed off this season. Yep. Didn't take it serious. And the thing about it is in this game, it you know, in that wild card game, a lot of the Saints issues that they've been dealing with all season got exposed in this game. And that kind of cost them as well. I mean, the Minnesota Vikings, they had a good game plan, but I just feel like the Saints, they could have did better. They could have. And I just think that Sean Payton just get frustrated when things aren't working and he doesn't commit to them long enough. He's really, really impatient. This ain't funny because it shows me how the Saints messed up this season. Viking fans made as hell as salty as us. Yep. But I really just feel like this just make me just believe, man. Like somebody wrote this on Twitter and, you know, I had to repost it. When they were talking about, I just feel like the Vikings are just here to make the Saints miserable in the postseason. It's starting to feel like that because they'll beat the Saints in heartbreaking fashion, you know, heartbreak, you know, cause us heartbreak in a Who Dat Nation. And the next thing you know, they lose big the following week. I just don't understand it. Let's see. Saints lost Mike Nolan. What's up? This man wasted $4 on his fart. Need to make banner flags, run the football. Oh, man, I got them shirts on the way. Man. They run the State of the Saints run the football t-shirts coming out really, really soon, folks. Y'all be on the lookout for that. The run of the football t-shirts coming out real, real soon. The Saints should be ashamed of themselves losing to that skull crap. Yeah, man, that was embarrassing. The Saints are playing Drew stat ball, not getting his numbers up. And our defense gets theirs. give up big plays. Yeah, they do, man. And the thing about it is the thing about the 49ers in this game, Jimmy Garoppolo was throwing up some lame ducks and their receivers were making some plays. I mean, it wasn't just Emmanuel Sanders out there. I don't even think he was a factor. And honestly, Debo Samuel wasn't easy either. It was the other receivers in this game that was actually making plays. And that's what the Saints are missing. Too much predictability at the wide receiver position. I feel like the Saints need to open up that playbook and run plays for all these receivers, man, where they don't look so predictable. Somebody say, run the football. T-shirts. Hey, Peyton, run the rock. Yep. Yeah, definitely. Hey, who that? What's going on, Jerry? Glad Minnesota lost. I think everybody is, Jerry. Look at New England last year. They found the running game and went to the Super Bowl. Yep. That is a fact, folks. That is a fact. You are not going to make it through the postseason if you can't run the football. Let's see. We had 3-09. Yep, we had Mike Bell, we had Reggie Bush, and we had Pierre Thomas. And the 49ers, they got three running backs running in a backfield. So all that two running back set, I mean, you use as many running backs as you can in order to get the job done. But I think that what the 49ers are going to do is going to be replicated next season because we all know that it's a copycat league. And I think the Saints need to be one of those teams. If you want to be successful, you make your defense better and you run the football, and if you decide to bring Drew Brees back for one more run, then you don't put it all in his hands. I mean, you become a run first team. I feel like that's something that the Saints need to do. What's the point of paying Latavius Murray all that money if you're not going to use him? Let's see. I'm ticked because the 49ers defense shut down the Vikings offense. Yep. Made them look like they shouldn't even been there. And in my opinion, they shouldn't have. The Saints should have beaten the Minnesota Vikings. I would rather the Vikings won. That would have made me think the Saints lost to a good team. I was thinking about that too. I even put a poll on the State of the Saints podcast on Facebook. I really did. I asked the same question. I said, if the Minnesota Vikings beat the 49ers, would it make you feel better about the loss last week? And honestly, 72% said no. 72% of the people said no, it wouldn't have made them feel better. So, and the more I think about it, now it just upsets you. It upsets you, man, that they lost this game, and it probably would upset you even more if they would have won. Carmichael needs to go. Yeah, the Saints need a new voice as an offensive coordinator. Even though Sean Payton called the plays, if you got somebody else up in there with a different mind frame from Sean Payton, then maybe you'll get the job done. Maybe you'll be able to talk to him and can sit, and politic a little bit about him running a football. Saints need a new defensive coordinator and secondary coach too. Yep. I talked about that too, Proud. I talked about that on a podcast. I talked about how like they need a new defensive coordinator, and a lot of people don't agree with that. That's another poll I put up. The majority said that the Saints don't need a new defensive coordinator, but in my honest, humble opinion, I think they do. I think they do need, a new defensive coordinator and a secondaries coach. I think they do, because over the last couple of seasons, I mean, even though the defense has improved tremendously, they still giving up big plays in crucial moments, man. So the more things change, the more they stay the same. And quite frankly, I'm just tired. Like, I'm just tired of, sitting there looking up at God, wasting his time, asking him to please let the Saints secondary get a stop. God got better things to do than to deal with a Saints game. And listen to me, I don't even think God acknowledged that. He probably put it in his spam folder or something. But I just get tired of it, man. Don't you get tired of watching the New Orleans Saints, just allow teams just go up and down the field on them when it matters most? I know I am, man. It's going to be another great year. I think we are going to finally run the ball. Drew Brees, I hope so. I hope so, Drew. I hope so. If it's coming from you, maybe it'll happen. New linebacker coach for sure now that Nolan's gone. Yeah, I talked about possibly Jonathan Vilma being in that spot. I think he'll be a good linebackers coach. He's a smart guy. I don't know if he wants to come from doing college game day or, college football, being an analyst for that. But whoever the Saints get, they need somebody that can match the intensity of Mike Nolan. Mike Nolan is an incredible defensive mind. I mean, he had the linebackers looking really good, and in my opinion, probably was the best part of the defense, the most consistent part of the defense. He turned Demario Davis into an all-pro, man. I mean, I think that had a lot to do with the coaching of Mike Nolan. So I think that he is going to be tremendously missed in the Saints defense. I mean, I really do. Ice Man, what's going on, man? Ice Cream Man 504 says, I'm still upset. Man, Ice Cream Man, what's going on, man? I'm upset too. I'm really upset. I'm upset about that. I mean, I thought maybe this win would make me feel better about the 49ers, but it don't. I'm not getting notifications. I'm sorry I'm late. Tier 1 Solutions. Don't worry about it, man. I appreciate you being here. I'm still numb. I still can't believe Deuce Wenham. I'm starstruck right now. I can't believe Deuce Wenham actually came to my page, y'all. I'm starstruck right now. I can't believe this. Like I'm about to mark out up in here. Deuce Wenham has come to my page, man. I'm starstruck right now. Y'all just don't know, man. Like for real. Like I'm a real big fan of this dude. I don't know where this came from. I think it's a big misunderstanding. I think it had something to do with me actually posting something, and I was like, I was on my way. I was on my way, and I seen him say something about the state of the Saints, and I think he may have took that the wrong way, as if I wanted to smoke or something. I don't want no smoke, man. Anybody that watch my live, I tell them, like I ain't trying to be the next big thing. I ain't trying to be none of that. I'm just a fan at the end of the day. That's all I am. Like I'm just a fan. I don't try to go up in here, try to attack anybody or try to come for anybody's spot. I'm good with my own lane. Because I feel like, if you're passionate about something, it's only a matter of time before people actually feel and experience that passion that you're doing, And I feel like what he's doing, he set the tone. I mean, that's just the truth. I mean, what I got like 3,000 subscribers, he got almost 10,000. Like, I ain't trying to be you. I'm not trying to be him. But he's incredible. Like he is incredible. Like him, and I think the guy's name Elias. If I'm getting or Elijah, if I'm getting your name wrong, bro, I apologize. But I mean, they're both incredible. Like they're really incredible. Let me see. The fake Deuce Wenham is blocked. I don't know if that's actually Deuce Wenham or not, but my comments stay the same, man. My comments stay the same, about Deuce Wenham. Like, man, that guy's incredible. Like he's incredible, man. And I think, like I said, man, him and Nas, people like that, like they inspire me. They inspire me from, the things that they do. They consistently put up content. And to be honest with you, man, the passion that they speak with, I mean, I don't feel like nobody can take that away from them. But, I enjoy doing this. Like, I enjoy coming here every single week and answering questions from the Who Dat Nation. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, I'm just a fan too. Let's see. TJ, no, that's not Deuce. Oh, okay. Well, if it's not Deuce, then, oh, well. Let's go get Henry. He is a free agent. I don't know if that's going to happen, man. After this playoffs, there's no way they're going to let that dude go. Let's see. What do the Saints need to focus on? Jackie, that's a good question. What the Saints need to focus on is to try to spruce up, as my mama would say. When I used to be a kid and she wanted me to clean up the room, she didn't say clean up the room. She said spruce up. We need to spruce up the offensive line. That's the number one thing. You get people like Andrews Pete up out of there. Somebody that's about as soft as doctor's cotton. Get him up out of there. And the thing about Andrews Pete, not the fact that I ain't gonna talk about him being in the Pro Bowl. I mean, I already made a video about that. But the thing about Andrews Pete, the crazy thing about it is he's gonna go to somebody's team and he's probably gonna be one of the highest paid left tackles in football. He's probably not going to be a guard anymore. He's probably going to move to the left tackle position. If I was him, that's exactly what I would do. And he's going to get a whole lot of money. I don't know who he's going to go to, but he's going to make a lot of money. He's probably going to go to Arizona, or he's probably going to go to Miami, or even Tampa. But he's going to go somewhere. And he is going to make a lot of money. But they need to fix the offensive line, Jackie. That's number one. Number two, you need to get yourself some more wide receivers. Notice I didn't say a number two receiver. I said some more wide receivers. Devontae Harris, I'm looking for him to make the jump in year two. I'm interested in seeing if Emmanuel Butler can answer the call. I mean, you left him on the practice squad all year, okay? And then you re-signed him to a future contract. I'm interested to see what he's going to do. But you need to draft somebody at the wide receiver position, a young guy, a young, hungry guy that can come into the organization and start right away and can make plays right away and just ease the tension off of Michael Thomas. I feel like that hurt us in the end. Yeah, Trayshawn. Yeah, Ice Cream Man. I am saying that. Y'all were absolutely right. It hurt us in the end. I will eat crow on that. It hurt us that we didn't have another wide receiver opposite of Michael Thomas. So if you get some of those guys fixed up, the offensive line, new wide receivers, possibly getting somebody in free agency and then drafting somebody, I think that you should be okay. Another thing what the Saints need, you need to make sure that you re-sign Janoris Jenkins, okay? I know you owe him like $10 million if you keep him on the books until March, but you restructure his contract, see if you want to restructure his deal, pay him majority of his money up front, or, spread his contract out throughout so many years, see if he's willing to do that. But you try to do everything you can to try to bring this guy back. You make sure, Marshawn Lattimore, whether you want to sign him or, pick up his fifth-year option, which most likely they will, and you possibly draft another safety, okay? You draft yourself another safety that can possibly be waiting in the wings in case you don't want to re-sign Marcus Williams. You get yourself another pass rusher, okay? Marcus Davenport, I'm not saying that he's not or could be really good. I mean, he came on towards the end of the season before he got hurt. But I think you need yourself another pass rusher. I don't think you need to go into the draft to get one of those. I think you sign one of them in free agency and let him rotate with Davenport. So I think if you fix that, I think you'll be okay. The Saints should be okay with the quarterback positions. Rather, Drew Brees retire, you bring back Bridgewater, bring back Taysom Hill. I think they're okay with that. The running back positions, I like that. I just think that the Saints may need to draft themselves another running back and have like a 3 running back set like the 49ers. Because anybody that, if Drew Brees retires, I think the way that the Saints were playing when Teddy Bridgewater was the quarterback, I think that's the way they need to play going forward, because they were really good on defense and they was running the football. They was pounding the football, playing big boy football. So I think if the Saints kind of take on that identity versus throwing the football all over the place 35, 40, 45 times, I think they should be okay. But those are the changes I think needs to take place with the Saints. That was a good question. I'm sorry, I know it was a little bit long, but that was a good question. Vintage Vikings. Ravens are down right now. What the score is of the Ravens game? Traquan is trash and the 49ers beat the Vikings with the same game plan we were supposed to use. Yep. Good coaching. TJ is not Deuce. It's IB. He masquerades as others. I don't know who IB is. But like I said, I don't think I said anything that was, I don't think I said anything negative towards him, because that's not how I roll. That's not how I roll. TJ, I'm on the same page as you. Your thoughts on Brees and Kamara? Yeah, Jermaine. Yeah, I just feel like Drew Brees. Man, I'm like I know some of y'all seen that. My own grandmama called me talking about Drew Brees. Got mad at. Well, I won't say she got mad at me, but she kind of scolded me, about my my comments on Drew Brees. Like, she really got upset with me over that. And my grandmother's a diehard Saints fan, been a Saints fan since, they started. And, but everybody has their feelings about Drew Brees. And I think people got the wrong idea. And I think they just think that I don't like Drew Brees. But, my opinion and comments were based on what I seen in that game, not his overall body of work. I would be a fool to say that Drew Brees isn't a good quarterback or Drew Brees not good. Drew Brees has brought credibility to the Saints organization, and we in a Who Dat Nation are forever indebted to him. But, I mean, even Michael Jordan had to leave the Chicago Bulls. I mean, even Joe Montana had to leave the 49ers. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, even Peyton Manning had to lead the Colts. I mean, all things must come to an end, folks. And I know we trying to hold on to it because, I mean, we're scared of the unknown. That's just human nature sometimes. We're afraid of the unknown. But I think that the future is bright with the New Orleans Saints. I think they got a lot of good young players, and I think they have a lot of good core players that can keep the locker room in a good position, keep guy morale up. I think they'll be okay. I don't think we have nothing to be afraid of. I think the Saints will continue to rise and be among the NFL's elite. I just feel like there's a few things missing from this team. And honestly, I just feel like the way that Teddy Bridgewater plays or the way that Taysom Hill played, they would have won that game in a wild card round. I just think that the statue quarterback is a little bit of a dying breed. And I think we seen that today with Kirk Cousins. Statue in the pocket. It was a couple times where Kirk Cousins could have scrambled out of the pocket and got some yards, but that's not his game. And sometimes, it's good to have a pocket passer, but sometimes those pocket passes can cost teams games as well. The Saints have beat the crap out of the Vikings. Yeah. They have, in the past. But, I mean, to be honest with you, Drew Brees always struggles against the Vikings. I think the last time they played last season, he only had 120 yards passing. So it seems like they always have his number. Did Michael Thomas really have a broken hand? Yeah, he did. He definitely had a broken hand. Michael Thomas wasn't lying about that. They just kind of kept it like close to the vest. Just to, Sean Payton don't really like to talk about injury. So, I mean, the season is over. He ain't got nothing to lie about. And honestly, I think we all seen when he went to that children's hospital, I mean, his hand was wrapped up. So it's not like he's lying about it. I mean, we all seen him, his hand wrapped up. And I think that if he's out there playing with a broken hand, I mean, I tell you everything you need to know about that guy. That guy's a warrior. Let's see. Chris Carter, Vikings beat us back in the day too. Yeah. Him and Randy Moss, man. Randy Moss destroyed the Saints, was killing them. Him and Culpepper. I'll never forget that. That's when the Saints had them ugly gold jerseys on. And I'm glad they kind of got rid of those. Those were some ugly jerseys, man. Can I get a T-shirt? Daryl, yes, you can. I promise you, these T-shirts are going to be out really, really soon. I got my design guy, the guy that designs all my logos and stuff like that. He even designed the logo of the hat that I'm wearing right now for my other podcast, Unapologetic. So I got him working on the T-shirt design. Once he gives me that design, those shirts are going to be out. So I promise you they're going to be coming real soon. You're right. I believe we need to get a offensive coordinator. Maybe he will commit to running the football. Well, I hope so, man. I'm just tired of, I'm just tired of Sean Payton with this passing the ball all over the place. And like I said, the frustrating thing about it is he can run the football. When Drew Brees was hurt for those 5 games, I mean, he was really using the running game. Latavius Murray averaged 158 yards from scrimmage, man. Do y'all not understand that? 158 yards from scrimmage did Latavius Murray have when Drew Brees was out. So that tells you right there, if he really wants to run the football, he can. The thing about it is he's not patient. He's so impatient. Even some of the plays that the Saints run, do you know like some of those halfback, screen plays and some of the wide receiver screens, that's nothing but extended run plays. Even they rather throw the ball to a wide receiver screen than to hand the ball off to a running back and let them run between the tackles or let somebody run block for them. It makes no sense to me. You're right. I believe we need. Okay, I already read that. 100% right about running That's why we baptized folks last season. They couldn't get on the field because we controlled time of possession. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We were controlling the time of possession. We were running the football. Anytime you throw the football and God dropped the ball or Drew Brees underthrows or anything happened, it stops the clock. And you basically are giving your opponent opportunities to get the ball back and to stay in the game. I mean, look at what the 49ers did. They were running the football, controlling the time of possession. Clock was just running. Tick, 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 tick. And like I said, they did not care that the Minnesota Vikings knew they were going to run the football. They handed it off anyway. Sometimes you got to do that, I mean, sometimes you got to believe in your squad. And if you can't believe in your squad, then maybe you just got the wrong job. You said Gigatist says not Deuce, TJ. Yeah, thank you very much. I like I said, I didn't know if that was him or not. I don't know. I just seen the name and I knew who it was. I mean, I recognized the name, not the person that was behind the name, or the catfish that was going on. But like I said, man, I mean, Deuce is really good. So I mean, if he goes back and he looks at this, I don't think I said anything too bad. Let's see, because I respect it. I'll tell you right there, man. My job, every day is I'm a radio DJ. I'm on in the afternoons at 90.9 FM in South Carolina. And one goal that I have, one day I want to own a station. Like I want to own a radio station because I feel like there are so many people with talent. And if you look at, I don't know if y'all pay attention to morning shows or anything like that, but a lot of the times it'd be the same people. Like it'd be like, Steve Harvey, Tom Joyner, Howard Stern, he on Sirius, but that don't really count. But they have a lot of nationally syndicated radio stations all across the country. Now, can you imagine like a person that actually wants to have a job in radio? That could be your morning person in your local area, but you choose to carry somebody that's probably in New York somewhere. And I feel like that takes away from people. There are so many people that got like a lot of talent, they got passion to talk about sports, to talk about hip hop, to talk about, country music or whatever genre that you're into. And they on the sidelines because, people don't want to commit to them. And that's one of the things, I want to do, one day is possibly own a radio station where I can give people opportunities and, be able to talk about their favorite teams and, be able to exercise their talents and stuff. I feel like that's important. But I say that to say this, like, Deuce Winham and Nas are like type of people I would hire. I mean, to be honest, those two guys are like really passionate about what they do. Yeah. I was right the first time. Elias. So I was right the first time. I don't know why I say Elijah. I know it was something like that. I should have just said Eli. That would have sounded much better, than me messing up his name. But shouts out to Elias as well, man. The Titans are going to upset the Ravens. It's 14-0. TJ, you and Big Q Podcast are the two best ones I have been on so far. Y'all keep it real. Well, thank you very much, Jermaine. I appreciate that. Let's see. How important is a 2 wide receiver and who should we bring in? Like I said, I just think we should get a rookie. I think we should get a rookie and, somebody that's a veteran, somebody that's, kind of cheap, not somebody that's going to break the bank or anything like that. Cause I feel like you already got your star in Michael Thomas. And then you have your guy that's opposite of Michael Thomas, whoever you bring in from the draft. And this is a huge draft. I don't know if y'all looked at, some of these wide receivers coming out. This is a big, deep draft for wide receivers. So if the Saints can replicate some of the drafts that they had in the past and get some of these guys, I think they should be okay. I don't know. I got to look at who's a free agent going into this offseason at the wide receiver position for other teams before I make that decision. I can possibly make a video about that probably next week sometime. So I'm not sure what the free agency looks like when it comes to wide receivers, but I do think they need to draft one, and I think they need to draft them pretty high. Let's see. Me too, TJ Harris and Butler. Yep, we got to see what they got too, because Devontae Harris, man, that guy got star written all over him. And if he really just takes his career serious, because I mean, I don't know if y'all remember, like at the beginning, Tyreek Hill was the same type of guy. I mean, he was a guy that had like explosive speed, really elusive, but he had questionable hands. And you know, in the off seasons, he would get work with professional guys, calling guys that been in the league to help him out. He worked on his route running. He proved himself when it comes to the route tree, and now he's a pretty credible receiver. And I think that if Devontae Harris takes his career serious, I think he can be the same type of guy, and he will be one heck of a weapon. Let's see, 14-0. Wow. Let's see. Raymond just scored a touchdown. Re-sign Jenkins and get big time safety to replace Bell and Marcus Williams. Yeah, Malcolm Jenkins, I would actually re-sign him. Basically just to have a veteran presence in the locker room. And to be honest with you, that wouldn't be a surprise if they do re-sign him again, because Sean Payton just has so much respect for him. I mean, he even said, and I think it was a game where they played Philadelphia, he said one of the biggest mistakes he ever made as a coach was letting him out the locker room. I mean, that is one strong statement for a coach to say about a player. That's how much respect he had for Malcolm Jenkins. Let's see. Need us to keep Von Bell. I don't know about that one. That's a toss-up right there. I like Von Bell. I think he had his best season as a Saint this season, but my question is, what took you so long? I always have questions about that because, I wonder guys' motive. Like, you play pretty pedestrian the majority of the years that you've been with a team, but basically your final year, your contract, you playing with empty pockets, and now all of a sudden, you want to ball out. That's because I be feeling like they just want to put some big, big time film on tape, so that can give them leverage. So if they walk, they can get the maximum contract. I question guys like that. I think that when you look at somebody like Michael Thomas, I mean, he has improved every single year he was in the Saints uniform. And even when he got the big time contract, he took his career and his star just rose. That's the kind of guys that you want on a team. I always question guys that play out their mind the last year of their contract. Justin Jefferson. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get Justin Jefferson. The guy's too talented, and too many teams need wide receivers. Yes, on keeping Jackrabbit. Yeah, we got to find a way to keep him. That man shut down Stephon Diggs in that game. And honestly, he played really well versus the Carolina Panthers. Taysom Hill should be the starting quarterback. I don't know if he should just be the unanimous starting quarterback. I think that you still gotta get somebody in here to possibly compete with him. I still think that Taysom Hill has some room to grow. I think that he still has he still needs some work, like he does some really good things, but it's one thing to be a primary quarterback and just stay in the pocket and throw the football. I mean, has he improved from the first time he stayed? I mean, he signed with the Saints to now, absolutely. But I mean, it's one thing to be lined up as a tight end, lined up in special teams, but it's another thing to be the starting quarterback. So I can't just say that he's the unanimous, starting quarterback. But if you want to give him opportunity to get that position and he earns it, then I'm all for it. If Taysom Hill is our quarterback, we lose all his other playmaking capabilities. Yep, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's one thing to be lined up on special teams and lined up as a tight end, but when you are the quarterback, I mean, that's another thing. Let's see. Titans are playing some defense like the Saints should have. Yeah, man. That's the frustrating thing about it, man. I know the Saints can play better defense than that. I'm not going to lie. I'm hurt, bro. My brother's like, chill, but I just can't. Yep. Can't. It hurt, man. I mean, when your team was that good, 13-3, and they just wet the bed like that, it just ticks you off. I wonder sometimes can Coach Payton still motivate our guys, especially for big games? I don't think that has anything to do with it, Heavy C. Henderson. I don't think so. I think he does a good job because, I mean, he can motivate them because they're 13-3. That's the kind of conversation we have when it comes to like Freddie Kitchens and the Cleveland Browns last season, or you talk about Pat Shermer with the Giants. I mean, the Saints were 13-3, so somebody had to be motivated and to be coached up to go out there and play. I don't think that's the problem. What the problem is, and this is, once again, this may not be the most popular thing to say, but it's true. I just think that if Sean Payton doesn't call a really good game, the Saints can't weather the storm. I mean, I think that the Saints' success ride on the play calling of Sean Payton, especially, when it comes to the offense. If he's having an off game with the play calling and he's getting confused and flustered, I think the Saints are going to fail. I mean, it's just what it is. It used to be back in the day that if Sean Payton was calling a lousy game, then Drew Brees can be able to get the Saints out of those situations. But Drew Brees can't really do that anymore. Yeah, Drew Brees can run a 2-minute drill. He can get you down the field to set up a Will Lutz game-winning field goal. Yeah, I mean, Drew Brees is the most accurate quarterback still to this day, but he still doesn't have that ability to just, strike as quickly as he once did. So I just think that the play calling of Sean Payton is so important in the later years or the latter years of Drew Brees' career. It's important for him to run the right plays, because if they don't, then the Saints are going to be in trouble. I don't think it has absolutely nothing to do with motivation. I think it has a lot to do with play calling. I think he kind of lost his fastball, folks. I think that Sean Payton needs somebody else to come in here to work alongside him. I just think that Pete Carmichael is not the guy anymore. I don't think that Pete Carmichael can challenge Sean Payton and tell him to run the football or get him to see things a certain way, because I feel like they've been together too long. They know each other's tendencies too much. And I just feel like when you're talking to one, you're talking to another. And that's not a good thing. Sometimes you need to change things up, to shake things up sometimes. And I think that's what the Saints need. They need a shot in the arm. They need some more offensive innovation. And they need a guy that can possibly challenge Sean Payton, in certain situations, to make sure that he's actually calling certain plays and committing to the run. Because sometimes I just feel like he just gets so pass happy on that play sheet that he forgets that he actually has a running game. And you can't do that. You're not going to win a lot of games, especially in the postseason. Breeze has to leave in order for us to run. Yep. You have to. I mean, in order for the Saints to actually flourish in a run game, it's rather two things going to have to happen. One, Drew Brees going to have to retire. And number two, the Saints have to get themselves a young quarterback, that the defense has to basically kind of carry a little bit, and that's going to make him more committed to the run, because you're not going to trust that young quarterback to go out there and do what Drew Brees has done. He has to earn that. So you're going to run the football. And honestly, if that's what it takes, then I may be all for that. I'm not going to lie to you, because I'm just over it. I just need them to run the football. Let's see. The Titans game is making me sad. They are running the ball and beating the brakes off of the Ravens. Let's see. What you smoking? Bell needs to stay. Like I said, I mean, if they keep him, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it. But if it was me, the way that C.J. Gardner-Johnson was playing in it, when he was out, I think you got something there. I love how Thomas trolled the Titans. He trolled the Titans too, or he trolled the Vikings? I knew he trolled the Vikings. I knew he was trolling Stephon Diggs. Let's see. Y'all good? Mike T was heavy trolling the Vikes. Yeah, like the Vikes. The Vikings were getting eliminated. TJ, I need that t-shirt when you drop them. Man, I got you. The truth hurts. I guarantee you, I got you. And I'm also like, I'm gonna do this. I promise y'all. When those shirts come out, somebody is gonna win one. Somebody's gonna win an exclusive Run the Football T-shirt. So just like I did before, and Jerry ended up winning the T-shirt, I'm going to post a question, and the first person that emails it to me is going to get the free T-shirt. So be on the lookout for that. When the Run the Football T-shirt comes out, somebody is going to be lucky enough to get the first one. Well, you probably ain't gonna get the first one because I'm gonna get the first one, but you'll be able to get a free T-shirt. Okay, so be on the lookout for that. Hey, I'm not getting the notifications. I don't know why. I don't know why you're not getting notifications. I wish I can answer that. I don't know. Maybe YouTube don't want me to be great or something. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm sorry about that. I don't know why you're not getting notifications, and I apologize for that, Tyra. Thank you so much for checking out the live stream. I appreciate that. I appreciate all y'all from the bottom of my heart. Verlin says we need to pick a style and stick with it. If we're going to be pass happy, yes, get wide outs in an O line. Stop blowing smoke about going balanced. Tell the truth, shame the devil. It is. What is it? It's what it is. And Drew Brees is here. Let me see. All right, Verlin, check this out. I agree with you, but I just feel like you're not going to be able to pass the ball all over the place and win any games. I mean, that's just not smart. That's not smart for you to just run the football all over the place and you expect to win football games. Okay, that gets you beat. It's all about running the football and controlling the time of possession. That is what is going to keep you in games. I don't know why teams want to throw the football. Well, let me take that back. I understand why, because football is about physicality, but it's also about entertainment. That's the reason why you look at the media, they're pushing quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers and Sean Watson, because those guys are so exciting. Patrick Mahomes, with his elite arm strength that could throw the ball like 70 yards down the field on the line, rolling out of the pocket. Deshaun Watson can do so many things. He can throw the football and he can be innovative and extending plays. I understand that. But at the same time, sometimes that ugly, boring football is what you need to win. And to be honest with you, if you're running a football and you're getting yards and you're imposing your will, I don't care if the score is 13-10, 9-6. I can care less. Okay. I can care less about those games. As long as at the end of the day, the Saints have more points than their opponent, I can care less. And I feel like the Saints, Sean Payton, his coaching staff, or whatever, or whoever it is, they're not committed to the run. They're impatient, and they do not take the time to actually allow the running game to be successful. Okay. You can't, it's not like you playing Madden on rookie, all right? And you done turned your whole offensive line up to 99s or something, you know what I'm saying? Or you lowered the AI of your opponent, like, so they won't rush you. Not every time you're gonna run the ball, you're gonna score a touchdown. That's not going to happen. Okay. You have to be able to be patient and allow the running game to take place, allow those ugly yards to take place, because at the same time, you're constantly pounding into that defensive line, and these guys are going to start getting tired. They're going to start getting frustrated because they're going to have to stop the run, and people get tired of it. People get tired at the end. They get worn down, and that's when you can be able to do some of the things you want to do. And not to mention, they can set up the play action. I mean, that's the reason why the Minnesota Vikings have been so successful all season. That's the reason why Kirk Cousins looks as good as he has, is because that's what they were doing. They were running the football and they were setting up the play action. Michael Thomas needs to quit because why are you at home? Stop being petty. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess he feels like it needs to be said. I guess, guys were talking mad greasy, talking mad greasy last week, talking about the Saints, and now this week, paybacks are, you know what? I ain't got no problem with that, man, because I think a lot of people in the Who Dat Nation were probably being petty towards Viking fans. So I don't have no problem with that. I'm definitely gonna buy a t-shirt. I appreciate that. We got a right to be petty. Yep, we do. I mean, this team ended our season, man, and every time it seems like the Saints going to get over the hump, here come the Vikings to try to screw us over. I don't want to say screw us over, but to beat us. And I mean, it is frustrating as a fan. Drew can't run. He rather throw a pick or take a sack before he runs. Yeah, that's true. That is true. But I'm starting to think about this, folks. It makes me wonder, like, is the offensive line of the New Orleans Saints really that good, or does Drew Brees make them really good? Let me explain myself. Every single year, the Saints offensive line always be in the top 10 when it comes to offensive line. But if you look at Drew Brees and the way that he plays, when defenders are coming close to him, he throws the ball away. He throws it at a halfback's feet. And to be honest with you, that could be a possible sack. And there's quite a few times in games that Drew Brees actually does that. So it just makes you wonder, like, is the offensive line really that good, or does Drew Brees make them that way? I mean, I knew it was a couple of times, Drew Brees could have possibly been sacked, at least about 4 or 5 times in a game, but he throws the ball away. And that 4 or 5 might turn into 1 or 2. I'm sick of Brees always feeling entitled, staying in the pocket. I think a lot of people are tired of that. And like I said, that those quarterbacks that are statues are becoming passe. And even though you still have good pocket passes, I think teams are going to start like removing themselves from those guys because, you need a guy that's a little bit mobile that can extend plays when plays break down, can actually run, get a couple yards. I ain't talking about like Lamar Jackson can just break out for 50, but at least get like 3 or 4 yards to keep your drive going, or pick up a first down when it's 3rd and 2. Let's be real. Drew been with New Orleans for over 10 years. We only have one good playoff run since he has been here. Yeah, that's true. But I will say they've been going to the playoff much more consistent, Blank Man J5. I like that right there. Blank Man J5. J5. Oh, man. I like that movie, man. Y'all seen Blank Man before? I love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies. But anyway, one good playoff run. I agree, but they have been going to the playoff consistently since he's been here. I remember times where Saints in the playoffs, people used to laugh, But, I mean, he made them legitimate contenders, and that's why I feel like people go at people like myself's neck every time they talk about Drew Brees because they remember how awful the team was. And that's kind of what my grandmother was saying. My grandmother was like, give him a pass because of what he's done in the past. And I think a lot of people do that. But to say that Drew Brees hasn't done, a lot for New Orleans, I mean, I just feel like that'd be wrong. Just because we can agree that he's the reason or the main reason why the Saints lost in a wild card round. TJ Brees makes them that good, that O-line. Yeah, I agree, man. I'm serious. Drew Brees done sent a lot of O-linemen to the Pro Bowl. It's going to be interesting to see them without Drew Brees to see how good they really can be. Because I think Drew Brees kind of, disguised them to make them much more legit than what they actually are. I feel like if it was a quarterback other than Drew Brees, I think that offensive line would have a lot more problems than we give them, than we would want to think that they have. Because that game against the Vikings really showed me something. It really did, man. It made me realize that maybe the Saints offensive line isn't really that good. How the hell did Pete make the Pro Bowl? Man, that is my question to everybody here. I have not a clue. The only logical explanation I can come up with is that the NFL don't watch Saints games. Let's see. They beat us. Get over it. They didn't cheat. Sean Payton can't get out of his own way. Treshawn, I agree with you. Yeah, that will never come out of my mouth saying that they cheated the Saints. And if I said that, I apologize. I mean, it was just they just beat us flat out. They beat the Saints flat out. Even though we upset, we got to admit that they just beat the Saints. Their game plan was better than the Saints' game plan. And we can talk about offensive pass interference all you want to, but the question then you have to ask yourself is, why did the Saints get in that position in the first place? I agree completely on the run. We look better as a team with the Teddy game. Not so much Teddy. We got spoiled with the pass, but we don't have 5 dependable sets of hands anymore. Look, check this out, Verlin. Let me tell y'all something that a lot of people in the Who Dat Nation may not even be paying attention to. Do you realize that over the past, I say about 3 years, the Saints' offensive efficiency and points has dwindled? Like offensively, like they used to put up a whole bunch of points. They weren't putting up a lot of points over the past 3 years. I think that the media talking about Drew Brees and the Saints, we kind of got, that whole stamp of being a high-powered offense. But the Saints have not been a high-powered offense in years. Like, yeah, can they put up points? And there can be games like that Carolina game where they can score 42, but and also that 49ers game, but they're not consistently putting up those type of points. And it's been a while since they put up those type of points. So the Saints offense has really been sputtering for years. We just haven't paid attention to it because they've been winning games. So the Saints really been dealing with offensive issues. It's just the fact that they've been winning is just been getting disguised. Like, go back and take a look. Go take a look at some of them games. They haven't. Dalvin Cook had 9 carries for 18 yards. That's because the 49ers dominated them, took him out of the game. And we all know, like you ever heard that term, if you cut the head, the body will follow. Dalvin Cook is the head. You cut him off, the body gonna fall. Like Kirk Cousins is just an extension of the body. That's it. He's not the head. Dalvin Cook is. You stop the run, you stop the Minnesota Vikings. And I cannot believe that the Saints didn't understand that. That would have been my first order of business. If I would have stopped Dalvin Cook and Kirk Cousins would have flat out beat me because he was wheeling and dealing all over the place, I would have lived with that. But I guarantee you Dalvin Cook wouldn't have been a factor. That's what good teams do. They shut down what you do well. You can hate the Patriots all you want to, and I can understand why. I justified all the cheating and all that kind of stuff going on, all these tapes and Spygate and deflated footballs. But one thing you can say about Bill Belichick, he will take your best offensive or defensive weapon out of the game where he will not be a non-factor. He will not. You will not beat the New England Patriots with your stars. It's very rare that you do that. And I feel like if the Saints would have came into the Superdome and said, man, look, 33 is not beating us. 33 is not going to beat us. Number 8 going to have to beat us today. Then I think they would have been okay. I guarantee you the 49ers said that. If Drew is going to be the starting quarterback next season, I think we need to give him more tight ends to throw to instead of wide receivers. Rethink the passing attack. I do agree with that. Even though I like Josh Hill, he's an incredible blocker, but he's a traditional tight end. He's like a throwback tight end, a guy that's a good blocker. You throw him the ball, he can probably get you like 4 or 5 yards. If you're in a goal line situation, get you a touchdown. I do feel like the Saints need a guy kind of similar to Jared Cook as well. Jared Cook is a really good blocker, and he can catch the ball as well. So I do agree with you on that. I do think they need another tight end. Maybe you can get yourself a young tight end that's a good pass catcher that could also help in a blocking game as well. And I think you'll be okay. Pete got to go. Keep McCoy, Easton, Omame, and our regular producing front end. I don't agree with the Patrick Omame. I don't think that he needs to be a starter, if that's what you're saying. I think that he can be in a rotation. I think he did a good job starting at left tackle, I think, in that Falcon game, and also when he came in as a guard in one of those games in the regular season. But I think that the Saints need to get themselves another young offensive lineman. That's what I think they need to do. I think they need to get themselves another young offensive lineman, a guy that you don't have to worry about paying money to. I think you need to start focusing on trying to rebuild your team in the draft. Possibly catch lightning in a bottle once again and try to have a lights out draft like you did back in 2017. So I mean, I know that's going to be pretty hard to do, but I think the Saints can do it if Jeff Ireland and the scout team actually did their job this season and went out there and got some good draft picks for the Saints to actually look at. And then you also have the Senior Bowl out in Alabama. I think the New Orleans Saints will be able to look at some of these guys, and I think they'll be able to bring some good players to the team. Let's see. Should not have even been playing last week. Yep. Had we not let the Falcons humiliate us after the bye, that would not have happened. Look, man, tier one, we can say that about the Falcons. We can say that about the Rams. I mean, we can say that all we want to, but at the end of the day, the Saints still had opportunities, to win all of these games. Not so much the Falcons game, but definitely the 49ers game. And I think if Drew Brees wouldn't have got hurt, they probably would have beat the Rams. So, I mean, that's hindsight right now. You know what I'm saying? But I just think that the Saints had the opportunities and the same situations that have happened in every Saints loss this season, for the exception of the Falcon game. The Saints defense let them down. I mean, think about this. The game against the Rams, what happened? They were, really slowly coming back. And then all of a sudden, here come Cooper Kupp, breaking off tackles or whatever like that. You look at the 49ers game. I mean, George Kittle, 4th and 2. You had opportunity to stop them, get a turnover on downs, and, he dragging 3 defenders. So, and the sad thing about this, folks, you ever just notice, when they have, all of these big-time, football moments, the Saints are always on the receiving end of those great moments. Like they showed the Minnesota Miracle. Then again, they showed the 49ers and George Kittle catching the ball on a 4th and 2. You just get tired of that, man. Why the Saints can't be on be the recipients of anything like that. It's always the Saints for the last 3 seasons have given the most memorable and disappointing moments or embarrassing moments in sports or the NFL. Okay, in 2017, we're at the Minnesota Miracle. 2018, it was the controversial 9 call. 2019, it was the catch by George Kittle. You get tired of that, man. I'm tired of the Saints being on the NFL's funniest home videos. I'm tired of that. That's not true, TJ. We scored tons of points last year. Did we? Did we really? Did we really score a lot of points last season? What did the Saints average last season? What did the Saints average last season? What was their average? Not 2019, but 2018. The Saints always get rid of the good players to keep the ones that's good. They keep one good player. Well, that's good players. I mean, somebody gonna have to go because they're gonna be a cap casualty. Terrell said, did you see the video by AB? Yeah, I seen a rap video. I put it on my Facebook page, the State of the Saints. State of the Saints Facebook page. You can check it out if you have not seen it. Let's see. Our D line wasn't that good. Correction. They wasn't that good after Rankins and Davenport got hurt. But besides that, they was getting pressure. They really was. And honestly, I feel like if Rankins and Davenport wouldn't have got hurt, we might have been talking, having a different story to tell today. Let's see. AB should have never been there, but Sean Payton liked drama. Yeah, he shouldn't have been there. But, I mean, he got a music video out of it. I mean, he got some trash bars, I mean, he need to keep his football job, I can tell you that, because that boy couldn't rap a Christmas gift. Horrible. Them bars were trash. TJ not as a starter. Oh, my man. Okay. Or you're not talking about a starter, a rotation guy. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Most people may not believe this, but now that they legalize gambling, I'm not so sure sports will ever be the same. Just like when the WWF went to WWE, you can see it like the guy who with the card game. Um, Trishawn, what you mean about the WWE? You gotta give me like I'm not following that analogy. Uh, but I do understand what you're saying about legalized gambling. I do feel like honestly, man, I do feel like Vegas has something to do with some of these games. I really do believe that. And sometimes I'm gonna be honest with this too. Sometimes I do feel like the NFL is rigged. You know, I do feel like that sometimes. Our screen game is not consistent. Play calling is stale. Yeah, man. When it comes to the screen game, we definitely missing Mark Ingram right now. We missing Mark Ingram with the screen game. I agree with that. Very stale. Saints need some new cornerbacks because they get beat on the deep ball. Yeah, man, they definitely. PJ Williams, man, chunk up the deuce. Patrick Robinson, chunk up the deuce. Like, get these guys up out of here, man. Get you some guys that can actually cover in the slot. I don't know why they just constantly just subject us to this garbage, man. Like, just straight up hot garbage. Like, man, what has these guys done that you feel like they should still be on your roster? Like, I'm so tired of watching PJ Williams get smoked, roasted, and toasted all over the field. Patrick Robinson, he stay hurt. He inconsistent. I mean, he old, you know what I'm saying? No catch-up speed, none at all. No recovery speed, none whatsoever. Like, how many times do you have to see this? How many times do you have to see these guys just get embarrassed and humiliated by receivers that are just average at best? And you're like, man, why are we losing to these guys? Like, get these guys up out of here, man. I'm over them. Like, for real. Like, I am over PJ Williams. I am over Patrick Robinson. I am over mediocre secondary play. Like I said, I just want a defense that's elite. I want an elite defense. That is exactly what I want from the New Orleans Saints. I don't think that's too hard to ask. For years, the Saints have had a high-powered offense. I'm going to say something that may not be very popular to say. I would rather the Saints focus on repairing the defense and making an elite lights-out defense than to focus on offense. That's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at, because I feel like if you got a good offensive play caller in Sean Payton, if he runs the football, get yourself some defensive players that can make some stops, that can rush the quarterback. That is what I want. I'm just tired of watching these dudes. Like, I promise you, my heart sinks every time the cameraman focus the ball down the field when a quarterback throws the bomb, because I don't know what I'm going to see on the other end. I don't know if I'm going to see a pass breakup. I don't know if I'm going to see two Saints players running into each other. Or I'm going to see a wide receiver running all alone where he ain't got nothing but space and I'm sick of it. I don't know if y'all sick of it, but I am. I am sick of it. Like, I am sick to my stomach at watching the Saints just give up big plays every single time. That is frustrating, to say the least. It is frustrating. It makes your head hurt. And you just wonder to yourself, how can teams that have been sucking over the past 2 to 3 years, like the 49ers, can repair their team and have a lights-out defense like that? Or the Ravens can lose people like Ray Lewis and Terrell Suggs, and their defense just don't miss a beat. You got the Steelers team that's struggling. They go get somebody like Minkah Fitzpatrick, and the next thing you know, they fighting for a playoff spot all the way to week 17, and you wonder to yourself, why can't the Saints do this? I just wonder. We need Greg Williams back so they learn how to tackle. Greg Williams can't teach heart blank, man. Greg Williams can't teach passion. Greg Williams can't teach aggression. Greg Williams can't teach the want to. He can't. He can't teach that. It's something inside of you, man. Like, bruh, let me tell y'all something about passion. Passion is something that you're born with. Passion is something that somebody cannot give to you. They can encourage you, but they can't give that to you. So when you look at people like Marcus Williams, guy's a ball hawk, got good, elite, like instinctive safety skills. But when it comes to the tackling, I feel like he shrinks. He don't want to put his shoulder into it. He don't want to be aggressive. He's just not an aggressive guy. He's just not. I mean, I feel like he does just enough to get by. When you're, like I said, it's something that nobody can teach you. It's in here. It's in here, folks. It's hard. That's what it is. And if you don't have it, then nobody can teach you that. Nobody can teach you to have passion. Nobody can teach you to have heart. Nobody can teach you to have skills. You look at people like Earl Thomas, right? You know, Earl Thomas, it was a couple years ago, the Seattle Seahawks had him returning punts. This man would know that the team was coming down on him. He refused to take a fair catch. Now, some people would say, man, that's crazy. He's insane. What is he doing? But that shows you right there, that man wanted. He wants to be the reason why his team wins. I've seen a whole 45-minute podcast, the Josh Hart podcast, the guy who played for the Pelicans. He had Marcus Williams on his show. And Marcus Williams was talking about the passion that he have. And when people talk about the Minnesota Miracle, he want to be in that position again. Why? Why should you be in that position again? So you can knee tackle your way? Yeah, that what you think? The way that you tackled, that was the same way that you tried to tackle George Kittle. That was the same way you tried to tackle Deshaun Watson in week 1. That was the same way that you tried to tackle some of the Titans players before you got hurt. So you talking about you want to be in that moment. Why? So you can squander it again? I don't care who your defensive coordinator is, folks. I mean, you can bring back, Bum Phillips. You can bring back Buddy Ryan. You can bring back the late, great Jimmy Johnson. You can bring Dick LeBeau. You can bring Tom Landry. You can bring Vince Lombardi. If you don't have guys that are passionate about playing the game, if you don't have guys that's passionate about wanting to make a play more than a person that has the ball, you are not going to be successful. No matter who you put into this organization, no matter who you have teaching these guys how to play, it all starts in here. In the heart. The heart. That is what it is. The heart inside. That is what it's all about, folks. And honestly, you know, we are watching this. So I'm coming to the conclusion. I have come to the conclusion that these guys just not really that bright. I mean, I'm just calling it for what it is. I just don't feel like they're bright. I mean, you've been playing cornerback your whole entire life. Come on now. How many football players do we have in the chat? I know nobody a professional, but how many times have the coach told you if you're playing a cornerback position, turn your head around? How many times have he told you this? These guys constantly have their back turned. These guys never try to position themselves to make plays. And you look at other teams, got ball hawks, got guys tipping the ball and the other guy intercepting it. Honestly, the Saints really don't get interceptions until, I guess, a quarterback actually throws the ball in that person's vicinity. That's when they catch it. You never really see a Saints player. There's like one Saints player I've seen all season that catch an interception, and I was like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like he really like jumped that route. And that was CJ Gardner-Johnson. That was it. Like in that Falcon game. He was the only person I seen that actually ran for the ball and and jumped up and caught an interception. Like him and Shy Tuttle made a play. But besides that, you don't see that. Most of their interceptions because it's a lame duck football, or they're like in that area and they might catch the football. But these guys ain't out here like jumping up, making plays, jumping in front of receivers and catching picks. I don't see it. Life and death is in the tongue. No one is speaking it. Let's see. A week before the playoff game, some of the Saints defense players were in the strip club in New Orleans. You know how the Giants had the boat trip and they had the strip club. I'm pretty sure, but you can't take pictures in there. Like they'll throw you out. But anyway, whoever says CJ Gardner Johnson is not an amazing player, you are a fool. He was a 5-star recruit out of high school, top-rated safety coming out of college. The only reason he didn't go first because he had bad INT. He has really good ball skills. I mean, everybody was talking about that. And he's a really good player, man. And that's somebody that wanted. Yeah, man. Yeah, turn your head around. That's all I say. Turn your head around. Can you please turn your head around? These guys do not turn their heads around. I'm just, I don't know. Yeah, anomaly 6. We need another sharper. The one that's on the field, not what he did off the field. Nah, we don't need him. We don't need that. Definitely don't need that. But we definitely need what he did on the field. He had 9 interceptions the Super Bowl season that the Saints won it all. We need somebody like him. And also, he was a smart player on the field, not off the field. He wasn't too smart. I always see Saints corners just running straight after the wide receiver. Yep, after they get burnt. Yep, they sure do. Too late then. Hand down, man down. That's how I go. Taysom had fire. Just a shame there wasn't more players with with extinguishers. Yeah, man, only like 4 players for the Saints team actually wanted it, in my opinion. Demario Davis, Devontae Harris, Taysom Hill, and trying to see, and Janoris Jenkins. That's like the only people I've seen out there that just actually really wanted that win. But all 53 of the Vikings wanted that game. Good defensive pressure causes turnovers. Tyra says, good night. Yeah, we about to wrap it up, Tyra. Come on, DBs. Y'all in the NFL professional football. CJ is super passionate. He had tears in his eyes after the game. Yep. Why Sean Payton don't draft LSU players to the Saints? Me personally, I'm going to be honest with you. I think it had a lot to do with Les Miles. Les Miles had a lot of bad apples at LSU. It was a very undisciplined team. Now you look at Coach Orgeron, it seems like guys are like on the straight and narrow. You don't really hear a lot of guys getting suspended from the team, getting kicked off the team. And I think that Sean Payton actually understood that, and he's seen that. And he probably didn't want to bring that into his organization. And a lot of the guys, I guess he felt, I mean, a lot of coaches feel like this. They feel like if a guy they draft and he's from that area, it might influence some of his decisions. So I think that might have something to do with it as well. But I think the help with Coach Orgeron, the way he's turned that program around, getting a lot of good 5-star recruits, guys that he don't have to worry about or he have to lose no sleep over. I think the Saints may start looking in the direction of the LSU Tigers, because if they don't, they'll be fools, especially for what Joe Brady has done to the offense and how the defensive backs are looking. I think they have like some of the best defensive backs in football, and I think they used to say Texas was DBU and Ohio State is DBU. No, LSU is DBU. I mean, look around the league. You got Patrick Peterson. You got Tre'Davious White. Man, I mean, come on, man. You got Greedy out there in Cleveland out there balling before he got hurt. So, yeah, man, I think LSU is the new DBU. And not to mention like Tyrann Mathieu. I mean, these guys got these guys got some talent. And then you got Dopey coming out. Then you got the young freshman. This dude gonna be a superstar. He locking people up 18 years old. So you know them boys gonna be some monsters. Should we draft a new quarterback like Jake Fromm, keep Breeze? That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. I would draft a quarterback. Aaron Glenn needs to go. I did a whole video on that. I'm over him. I'm over Aaron Glenn. I'm sorry. He gave a secondary confidence, but he needs to go. Peace out. Yeah, Jamal Adams. Thank you. Jamal Adams as well. Yep, Jamal Adams. I forgot about him. But I mean, they're the true DBU. I mean, look at, like, honestly, Jamal Adams, right? First team All-Pro. Tre'Davious White, first team All-Pro, right? Is Hunter, Daniil Hunter, I think he's second team All-Pro, LSU. I mean, these guys defensively have some great talent on their team. And like I said, at the secondary position, I think they top notch. LSU, Ohio State. Let me see, Denzel Ward and Lattimore right now. Like, who else? You know what I'm saying? Who else they got? Malik Hooker. He pretty good. I mean, come on, man. LSU running it. LSU is the true DBU right now. But my final thoughts for this divisional round, the Minnesota Vikings lose to the San Francisco 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers are going to the NFC Championship game, and they will play the winner of either the Seattle Seahawks or the Green Bay Packers. All I know is this. I'm happy that the Minnesota Vikings lost this football game. I don't care if I sound petty. Probably am, because they beat the Saints. I'm just tired of seeing the New Orleans Saints lose to the Minnesota Vikings in the playoffs, only to watch the Minnesota Vikings lay an egg on national television. But I'm looking forward to the NFC Championship game. I don't feel like, honestly, I don't feel bad about watching the playoffs after the Saints lost. I think you can kind of accept the fact that they lost. You don't like that they lost, but you can kind of get into football, not like how it was, during the time last year, because you really feel in your heart that the Saints got robbed. This season, I can actually watch it and be like, okay, let the best team win. And the 49ers look really good, man. I mean, you can't take that away from them. I mean, Kyle Shanahan and general manager John Lynch, I mean, they did a really good job at putting this team together. A lot of young players, and I honestly feel like if you're hitting in a draft, you getting all these top 5 picks because your team's stinking it up, eventually, unless you're the Cleveland Browns, you will make the Super Bowl or close to it, or make a deep run in the playoffs. Just unfortunately, the Cleveland Browns can't do it. But I'm about to go ahead and try to catch a little bit of this Baltimore Raven Tennessee Titan game. But thank y'all very much for checking out the live stream. Please subscribe to the channel, youtube.com, search State of the Saints Podcast. Also on Facebook, facebook.com, search State of the Saints Podcast. You can check out the audio version of the State of the Saints Podcast on Spotify. And once again, the T-shirts will be coming out really, really soon. So be on the lookout for the Run the Football T-shirts, courtesy of yours truly, TJ Jones of the State of the Saints Podcast. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?